This is the thing I hear from all women nowadays. Where are all the masculine men? I'll tell you, the second you meet them, you run and hide.
Because they don't want to sacrifice a part within themselves, so that would
men aren't
require
going to-
them to show up.
Men are not willing to give up their commitment for somebody that is still committed to other things. And women need to really understand that, is that it's not easy to be with a real man. Most women say they want a high-value alpha male. They don't. They've been trained to want men that lie to their face. And that needs to be challenged.
Must be pretty weak-willed because all it took was falling in love with a man, and now I'm like, not really. I mean, I'm a feminist, but like, kind of. I don't really need my maiden name. I don't really need it. I like your last name better anyway. Like, I'll just take that. I know he can do his own laundry. I know that he can clean the house, but I want to do it for him. I want to cook all his meals. I want to make sure he's getting all his whole grains, all his vegetables. I want to make sure he's getting all that protein. He has not asked any of this of me. It just kind of naturally kicks in. Like, these instincts just kind of come out of like, oh, now I have to take care of you when you're sick. Oops, I made you breakfast and it fits all of your dietary requirements. My bad. I think I got possessed by a housewife. Is that what happens?
And that, my friends, is a woman crossing over from radical feminism to true feminism. Radical feminism has taught her that, like, accepting anything from a man means you're less of a woman, that he has control over you and blah, blah, blah. But real feminism is about how men and women can work together for, like, something beautiful, for a good future, for a beautiful love together. You know what I mean? Like, relationships back then were far less about what I can get from a man and more about what can we provide from each other. For each other. You know what I mean. A lot of women, when they fall in love, they realize, like, they realize about what they call this divine femininity, the feminine energy, you know? They're like, oh shit, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with being, like, submissive to my man. Because when people hear the word submissive, they always think, like, someone's down on their knees, like, barking when he says bark, you know what I mean? But it's not really about that. Submission is about trusting somebody to make good decisions for you, to keep you safe. We just tend to use submission in, like, a bad context a lot of the times, you know? And believe it or not, there are times when men 100% submit to their women all the time. In fact, studies show that wives, they are like the majority stakeholders in decision making in the household, okay? But men, they make, like, the dads make the big decisions, but the moms, they make the everyday decisions that keep the household going. So yeah, real feminism doesn't care if you want to be a stay-at-home wife, if you want to go out and be a businesswoman, if you want to take his last name, if you want to keep your last name. Radical feminists will tell you that you are less of a woman and that you have just succumbed to misogyny. It really goes to show that we are not okay with women holding any sort of gender roles, but we are okay placing men in the exact same gender roles they've been in since, like, forever. The father of my children is the stay-at-home dad, and people straight up think he's less of a man because I'm the breadwinner. Okay, well, fair enough. Do you think that a woman is less of a woman if she goes out and works? Most people think it's fine to sell your butthole for $3.99. Hide the household products at my cooter for $4.99. Come on now. Thank you.
Women are wondering, like, why aren't men wanting to get married these days? Why are men not even approaching me and talking to me anymore? Why are men checking out completely? Look at the risk reward of getting into a relationship with a woman, potentially for a family and kids. You know, if you want to sleep around and just, like, hoe it up as a dude, and salute, brother, go handle business. The game ends the same for us.
Is that enough?
Can you
for
find
men?
happiness? Can you find happiness and joy? For some men, it's great. But I think every man on a deeper level yearns for a family, yearns for that dream, like a woman that's supportive, nurturing.
I can't see one single positive argument for staying single today. We're having a cigar the other day with this guy when we did the live podcast. He's 35 years old, makes millions, but he doesn't want to get married. He says, it's too risky getting married today. I said, it's too risky getting married today. I said, man, it's too risky staying single today. Like, what do you think life is all about? Pulling up to a restaurant in a Rolls Royce? For what? Who cares? Those people that say, what a nice car, don't give a shit about you. Everything about life is investing in things that outlive you. Man wants to live forever, but we're not going to. The only way you're going to get a glimpse of living forever is by what you build. You have kids, you raise them properly, they continue your last name, you write a book, you make music, you make movies, you make something that outlives you.
True. All of this is true. Well said.
Well said, soldier.
There are still some women who have the courage to assume conventional responsibilities. They find genuine fulfillment in maintaining the home and deferring to their husband's authority. Then modern feminism appears with its sanctimonious preaching and scornful taunts, advocating an emancipatory and egalitarian ideology that effectively subjugates traditional women. They are continually confronted by society with liberal concepts that elevate individual liberty and disparage any notion of duty as outdated or regressive. Feminism loves to shout empowerment, but it misses the fact that empowerment may also mean choosing to stay at home and take care of your family if that is what a woman wants. Third wave feminism and pop culture have conditioned modern women to believe that they are superwomen, capable of everything, while treating men as little more than decorative elements in their lives. This misunderstanding, fueled by the media, pushes males to the sidelines and treats them like throwaway decorations in the women's grandiose schemes. Men are waking up and refusing to play this unfair misandrous game. Therefore, it is not surprised that movements like men going their own way are gaining support. The worst thing is that feminism aggressively attacked anyone who went the traditional route, despite its constant complaining about how much it supports variety of opinion. A great deal of hypocrisy exists. True empowerment is about respecting all decisions, not just those that fit the feminist narrative. If feminism cannot see that, it is no better than the oppressive regimes it claims to be fighting.
Episode to young women and really talking to them about these are the options that are being presented to you. Less, take off more clothes, do the most to get attention, right? If you think that that's freedom, the idea that you have to wear less and the idea that you have to get naked to be heard, you really think that's a form of freedom? Because that's slavery, that's bondage. I didn't have to take off my clothes to be heard in society. And these women will realize that when you follow these people that are self-imposed feminists. I'm a feminist. I do this. I'm a feminist. You hear that word over and over and over again. You'll find that the majority of them are miserable. Look at their lives and ask yourself a question. Do you think they are happy? Do you feel good when you do what they do? Right? When you're constantly looking for a dopamine hit from social media because you took your clothes off and you want somebody in your comments, a thirst trap with your ass out, right? And you want someone in your comments going, "Oh, you slay, bae. You slayed the day, bae." Hashtag Tuesdays, am I right?
Yeah.
And you do this stuff for attention and you're devaluing yourself, and at the end of the day you don't actually feel good, and it's not going to bring you happiness, right? So yeah, you can get guys sliding in your DM, you can get guys telling you look good, you can get guys that want to sleep with you. How many of these people actually get guys that want to stay with you, right? Are not in somebody else's DM. The same way that you found him is the same way he's going to find somebody else, because we are increasingly becoming a part of a society that's ADHD. You want to know why our grandparents stayed together? Because they weren't looking at ass cheeks all day on Instagram and refreshing it and going, oh, well, that girl looks younger, that girl looks better, that girl's face tuned, and I think that is what these young women that they're following are telling them. You've got 13-year-olds getting lip injections, right? Because they want to look like Kylie Jenner. Again, not a shot to Kylie Jenner, but what society have we created that ever made Kylie Jenner feel like she had to go out and buy those lips, that she had to contour her entire face and change her entire body? She was already a beautiful little girl. So the society.
The truth is that a man is supposed to foot the bill for every part of dating in the modern society. Dinners, cocktails, and nights out are all on him. Do not forget about the price of that fancy car and the petrol it needs to run. Not to mention the extravagant presents and fancy house he should buy her in order to keep her around. One of the main problems in today's dating market is that, in essence, a man is worthless if he does not have money. The majority of women today, they lack any true abilities or skills and are just troublemakers. The days of women being able to cook, clean, have children, love you without conditions, take care of the house, and stick with you no matter what are long gone. These days, people enter relationships with no regard for others, no skills, and even less motivation to endure hardships together. It makes sense why an increasing number of males are finding it difficult to get together with or marry Western women. Simply said, the whole thing is no longer worthwhile. Women have become too tough to deal with because they are aggressive, manipulative, and entitled. Who would want to return home to that every day, really?
Here's the reality. Women do not hate nice men. That's just not true. But what we do dislike is men who lack masculinity. Now, a lot of nice guys tend to be men who also lack other masculine traits that women find attractive. And what they do is they blame their nice nature as to why they have no success with women, when really it has nothing to do with their niceness, but everything to do with their lack of masculinity. And it's quicker and easier to blame it on your nice nature. But really, if you take a man who is super, super nice, but he's still masculine, he's still risk-taking, he's still a leader, he still has boundaries. When you take a man who still has masculine traits and is nice, he ends up having hyper success with women. But when you take a man who's nice by default because he can't exercise his masculinity, of course women are not going to find that attractive.
A woman will never love you, especially never love you for you. A woman only loves your approval. Okay, a woman only desires to love and intimately chase your approval and your validation. The crucial point to this that majority of men do not understand is that a man's attraction and a man's love for a woman only grows in time spent. A woman's attraction and a woman's love for a man only grows in time apart. Therefore, it is never, and I mean never, in a man's best interest to spend lots of quality time with a woman. You're going to notice a decrease in desire, a decrease in attitude. She's going to be colder, ruder, and more masculine, and you're going to notice a decrease in sexual intimacy that she has for you.
Although dating is still popular, let us face it, it has changed beyond recognition. Although some people still believe in traditional partnerships, the popularity of internet dating has changed the game. Everyone has an abundance of options these days, particularly those at the top of the desirability hierarchy. Let us face it, they have become more erratic and pickier because they are financially independent and do not experience the traditional urge to be married. Women nowadays make little sense for doing so. They are surrounded by countless possibilities. The shocking thing is that dating as a whole has changed. Nowadays, especially when children are not involved, it is less about commitment and more about convenience rather than matching up to start a life together. What good is it to be in a relationship if there are no plans to produce kids? In the past, at least, single people without children played important positions in society.
Red flag number 7 is when she has guy friends. There's some rare scenarios where like a guy and a girl are old childhood friends and there's legitimately no sexual tension between them, but almost always when a guy and a girl are friends, there's some degree of sexual tension. And even if the girl's not interested in the guy, a lot of times the guy has been friend zoned and he's just like hanging around to see if he gets an opportunity down the line. And if you're talking to a girl and you notice that she regularly hangs out one-on-one or even just texts one-on-one with other guys, she likes the validation. Those guys are waiting to swoop in if they can.
And a lot of times, like, girls that have a lot of guy friends, they have one foot out the door in a relationship and they have like a lineup waiting for like, oh, if this relationship ends, it's okay because I have all these other guys that are interested in me.
And then she never even fully invests into the relationship with you in the first place. How many guy friends you got?
0, but I'm friends with a lot of your friends.
That's different though. Like if I would want my girlfriend or my wife to be friends with my friends. It'd be weird if she wasn't.
This concludes our A4 anonymous coverage for the day. Click that like button, please. Make sure you hit that notification bell in addition to subscribing. Leave a comment telling us what you think. Have a great day tomorrow.